Players are ready to go. Let's let them duke it out, folks. 9LIVES versus Gen.G to kick things off here for North America.
Well, they say a great defense can beat a great offense. And what you have on one side is a great offense in Gen.G. Can the defense of 9LIVES stop them? Game one, presented by Progressive. Underway right now.
This is going to be a very interesting matchup, especially considering we talked about it on the desk, that preparation going into this one from the side of Gen.G Mobile 1. They're already starting off with just a lot of work initially on that kickoff, and we may even see those kickoff strategies come into fruition as the series continues. Keep eyes on Kofer from 9LIVES here on this series. How is he going to fit into this team and push 9LIVES? He already gets a first shot, though, on the board.
A lot of players, just from name recognition, a lot of people will want to keep an eye on Chicago because, of course, he is kind of the veteran on the squad. It's easy to forget about Hoxer sometimes, that he has been around for a while as well. His shot blocked away by Cheese, but Chicago did a lot away from the ball that helped them throughout the qualifying process getting into this top 8. As Hoxer's got it all the way at the back, Magic Bear will give him a look, but Hoxer will bring it across. He's got Kofer there, but Reddle's in his way.
Yeah, and Chicago definitely is still looking to play that role a little bit more here. Just making sure, hey, if he sees a chance there to make a demo play upfield, he's going to take it, but he's also not going to overextend too much. He's keeping a great eye on the field. There's a chance here, but again, Chicago not able to go for it. Instead, he's going to drop it down to Kofer, and Kofer with a chance for a double, and Kofer with the first goal.
Oh, Kofer just takes what the defense gives him, and they gave him everything. Reddles couldn't get in the air. He had nothing in the tank. Kofer with the double, and it's 9LIVES on the board first.
And I love the pass from Chicago because he's sitting in that midfield a little bit awkward initially, but then he's able to turn around on the car, communicate to Kofer, get the drop down to him perfectly to set up that play. Well done by 9LIVES.
We can talk all we want about the offense of Gen.G, but their defense has probably been very suspect. Granted, yes, that comes from playing NRG twice, which is the best offense in the tournament so far, as Magic Bear will dish that off to the corner, but Chicago's all over it. Kofer lurking again. That drops down to Reynolds in a dangerous spot, and Kofer will finally pounce, looking for somebody to pass to, and instead has to take it himself. Hoxer was way back, and Chicago will just watch Cheese and Reddles go to work here and wait for his opportunity. Gen.G is only saved about half the shots they've faced, and you can take numbers and do what you want with them, but they aren't making many saves and giving up plenty of opportunities on the other end. If there's any upset in these first set of matches, this is the one that's most ripe for the picking.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, Gen.G, they've been a little hot and cold, but when they are hot, I mean, they look unstoppable. That being said, I think it does come down to them just trying to estimate what 9LIVES are going to do and try to play around it. I do think, though, it's kind of a stunner a little bit initially how Kofer's been playing this game, because he has been doing a great job when he's on the ball by himself. He's been able to carry it downfield, and he's honestly taken control of that midfield space a lot, and Gen.G has not necessarily been ready for that.
Kofer's been kind of an oddity in this tournament. You don't see players typically leading their team in scoring and demos as Cheese goes under the bar, and a little disruptive play coming out from Gen.G, giving 9LIVES a dose of their own medicine. Reddles chasing down Kofer, and he just made him uncomfortable enough. Cheese makes him kiss the ring.
Yeah, and it's a poor touch, though, from Chicago. He's looking to get like a one-tap control, but the ball just gets so far away that Cheese is able to take that one up and put a shot right on. So now you got a tied-up game, and it goes to show you Gen.G, they're going to take advantage of any type of errant touch that 9LIVES makes. They were in prime position to attack.
Kofer going to take his time, and Reddles affords him absolutely none of it. Finally, Kofer will get it back out to mid where Hoxer's waiting. Chicago in support. Good clear by Magic Bear, though, out to the side and out of harm's way. And a quick counterattack out of Gen.G. Can they do anything? Magic doesn't have anything in the tank. Cheese has all the boosts for the team, and they break free. Chicago clears the way, but Kofer's got to bring it all the way to the corner. Gen.G will just have enough time to get reset up defensively. And Reddles, initial save, yes, still floating and cleared out by Cheese.
What a good clearance from Cheese there. That was a very dangerous spot. Oh, Chicago! No, it's Kofer with the own goal. Top corner slot. I mean, look, it's very pretty. He sitting in a tough spot. Hoxer not able to get back. I mean, he's back in time, but Kofor just trying to see if he can help him out there. And unfortunately, redirects it into his own net. Poor touch there. 9LIVES now down by 1.
A team that has to get by kind of being greater than the sum of their parts was not in that instance. The communication broke down. Hoxer definitely would have had it had Kofor let it go. So now Cheese, quick to the draw, but Hoxer just gets a piece. Kofor's got to avoid Chicago. That's, boy, things are falling apart a little bit now for 9LIVES here. We get to the final minute. Gen.G holding the 1-goal lead. It feels like just so much more, though, because, again, they've got all the chemistry, and 9LIVES kind of falling apart at the seams.
It's just a couple of, like, error touches, a little bit of mistakes here and there. And I think, again, you get that mistake there from Kofor. He's got to be able to clean that up mentally really quickly if they want to develop a play, especially with 35 seconds left.
Oh, great pass over to Reynolds, but blocked away by Kofor. This has to be the counterattack now for 9LIVES. They can't really afford to come away empty-handed, and they will. Reynolds back the other way, and Kofor will have to bring it to the back wall. That's as more time spent playing defense than they would like. Kofor's got out that quickly, and Chicago was up. It's open behind them, and again, the communication breaks down for 9LIVES, and Gen.G are going to walk away with it.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, it's hard for Chicago to get a follow-up touch on that, and he's floating over the ball. Kofor wants to help out there. It's a good play, but the execution is just not there. And another mistake. It just looks like 9LIVES, they've really got to spend this remaining time trying to get things together, but just a bad start to the series for them.
It was not pretty, but Gen.G will take the opening dub here as the final few seconds burn away. Kofor will look for one more for the road, but it's Gen.G 3 and 9LIVES 1. And now they're down to 3 lives in this tournament.
Are we going to do that the whole series?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page here.
Yep. If I didn't, you would, and don't deny it.
I probably would have waited until like they were on the last life. Just being real. Just being real. But
Jeez. That's
such a performance from them, too.
Numbers. 800 score with the double savior medal. It started with a bang from Kofor and ended with kind of a resounding whimper out of 9LIVES. I think if you ask them, they'd want that one back because of how many opportunities they left on the table and how many gifts it must have felt like they gave to Gen.G.
Yeah, definitely giving. It's a season of giving for 9LIVES, and they have to be able to kind of correct that. That's going to be the biggest factor for the course of this series, is making sure that Kofor is comfortable going into Game 2, because he does play a pretty solid role. I mean, he's had big shoes to fill for this roster. You have to think last season, they had LJ. That's big shoes to fill no matter what. So it's important to make sure that he's playing. I mean, he definitely had a great game until the mistakes started going on. So now when you know that he's such a spearhead focus kind of on the offense, you're gonna need to make sure that he's in a good spot. Gen.G right now, though, they have everything going for them and then some. They've been trying to force errors. It hasn't necessarily worked too much until the end of the game. Now Gen.G know they have 9LIVES in a good spot, and they're gonna try to pounce on the opportunity.
Kind of the Justin vibes going on with his role as Shopify Rebellion. You got the veteran with the young stars. Well, now you've got Chicago and Hoxer, the veterans, kind of trying to guide this young phenom Kofor, who's got a lot of upside, but he's getting trial by fire here as Chicago brings that, gets stuffed by Cheese, and Kofor's got to bring it across. Reynolds double tap, bang, bang!
The clear goes right to Slater, and he's going to take advantage of it every single time. Kofor can't get a follow-up. Slater knows he's got a free double, and man, is he showing off there. Beautiful play from Reynolds.
So just as Kofor started it off with a double in Game 1, Reynolds opens up the scoring with one of his own. Cheese will barely get back for that. And we're off and running again in the first minute of Game 2. Maybe a bit of a shock for all the teams, just with the format being a little bit different. You're used to maybe your first time on the mainstream, maybe you got some best of fives along the way. No, it's all best of sevens all the way through the weekend now, as Reynolds a little slow to the challenge against Chicago, and Magic Bear just about ran out of juice, and so too did Kofor. So Cheese will try and get that by Hoxer, and the teams will play to a stalemate just across the center line.
Yeah, it looks like 9LIVES, they do have to be a little bit careful on their challenge game. Again, they are having that third man kind of challenge in the midfield. It is throwing the rotation off a little bit if they end up losing one of those. They've got to play a decent amount of defense, but so far they've been up to the task. A little good offensive pressure here, but not finding the back of the net. It was a good shot from Kofa.
Good shot, but not good enough. He'd probably want it back. Just get a little bit higher, and he scores. Now Magic Bear, double to center, and Kofer's all over it. You know, for not being as experienced in the RLCS ecosystem, Kofer still has seen plenty, as Reynolds will bring that deep into the corner, and things have very much slowed down here between Gen.G and 9LIVES. There's kind of a frenetic pace, especially as game one reached the second half. This slower pace, I actually think, kind of favors Gen.G, oddly enough, because, you know, they don't want to turn this into a track meet with Kofer running around, getting demos and being disruptive.
But also, Gen.G is such a methodical team anyways, that the slower you play, the more time you give them to cook up a plan. And they've been doing that so far with the way that they've been moving upfield on the offense. A little divey there, though, from Cheese, and the rotation is a little bit off. But that's what I mean. 9LIVES are going to have to turn up the pace, see if they can catch a little bit of over-aggression on the side of Gen.G Mobile 1 that they can take advantage of.
Well, Reynolds was looking outlet to Cheese, and I'm sure Cheese was ready to jump for it, and then might have realized, oh wait, I don't actually have the boost for this. Now Reynolds weaving around Kofer. Can't get by Hoxer though, and that caught a piece of Chicago, and that favors Cheese. Here comes Gen.G again, and Cheese just kind of drops it. They still have possession though, and a shot that's going to go wayward. Cheese is way over there though, and it seems like 9LIVES have slowed down even more, and they've got to pick up the pace here. Only down a goal, but again, it feels like they're fighting a battle that's so far uphill as Hoxer makes the save, ranging back into his own goal.
I mean, the only reason they haven't scored more on the side of Gen.G is because Cheese is just not hitting the shots. He's been set up with a lot of good opportunities over the course of the game, but those initial touches that he's having is just a little far off. If Cheese starts getting comfortable and 9LIVES continue to play as slow as they are, it's only a matter of time before the score line continues. Even Magic there, free shot, trying to get to the top corner, off mark.
And they try to feed the bear there, and maybe 9LIVES getting a little lucky that he didn't make them pay for it. Now Hoxer in Chicago, absolutely nothing in the tank. Kofer has some. He has all the boost right now for the squad, as Hoxer's going to lob one downfield again. And 9LIVES struggling to just kind of get their foothold here. Another center ball that's cleared away, and Kofer can only jump for it but do nothing with it. And Magic Bear, good win. Cheese thought about it, but Chicago had him red.
And you see him having to come and just cover that up a bit. A little bit of space, though, for Reynolds. Still, so far, this game is in Gen.G's control. They've been able to really take over the pace. Reynolds has done a good job of also getting a couple fakes in there as well, just to get 9LIVES to play in their hand. The fake challenges have worked out really well. We're approaching that final minute. That one might squeeze through. It does from Hoxer. We're all tied up in game two.
Hoxer came in with 10 on the weekend and adds another to the tally, gets a little bit of help with the aggressive play out of Kofer. All square, final minute in game two. As close to a must-win as you can get without actually being against match point here, because going down 0-2 with, again, the way this series has played out in the early stages would feel like an absolute mountain to climb. Demo by Magic Bear. Chicago avoids him, and he'll make the stop as well, but he's still got some work to do. Dances around almost the whole team. Only Magic Bear to beat, and the Bear stopped him.
Yeah, he read that play perfectly. Knew Chicago was going to try to play high for a bum, and got up there early. But still, this is really a good position for 9LIVES to be in. They've got the pressure. They know Gen.G have to force an issue. And oh, Chicago actually almost got the read right off the double. He's looking for a bump as Hoxer puts a shot on, but it's Reynolds to save the day.
I have to be careful with their hand getting caught in the cookie jar. Kofer making the save all the way back. Here comes Magic Bear, shot wide, just past Chicago, but did not beat the post. And that touches down. We get our first overtime of the weekend between Gen.G and 9LIVES.
This one goes straight to Hoxer. He doesn't get a chance to solo, though, right off the bump. Reynolds will have the double, but Hoxer able to recover and get on the back wall very quickly, stopping any kickoff plays. Things go into the neutral ground.
A watch for Chicago. Kofer's got him in support, but he's going to put on the brakes and try to create on the side. Got a piece of Reynolds, didn't allow him to follow that play, but now it's 2-on-1. Only Hoxer with Magic Bear chasing him. Kofer can't get back. He did! And it pinballs around and away for the time being.
Very close there. Gen.G almost able to take the game away. They're still looking to set up offense. That's a good bump from Reynolds, but no one there to follow. So Chicago sitting at net will bring it back in the midfield, and they 50 it out.
Oh, 9LIVES watch this game flash before their eyes, and now they got to recover. They are on the offensive end, at least for the moment. Chicago puts the brakes on, tries to make a play begin. And he might have something. Up to Kofer for the win. Chicago, or rather Cheese, says no. Hoxer looking for Chicago, and Reynolds is right there to make sure that pass didn't get through cleanly.
Great touch from Reynolds defensively to get a stop. Reynolds has been putting in overtime work here all over the field to get some strong beats. He's been playing a good game, but he even still needs a little bit more help kind of maintaining that midfield, because 9LIVES are doing their best to jump on any chances they can get.
Reynolds had to wait. Kofer had him beat. Chicago tried to pull the string, and that ricochets around and out of harm's way yet again. Gen.G dancing their way out of danger. Can they capitalize this time? It kicks off the corner, and Hoxer is right there. Nobody overly aggressive as Cheese finally dives in. Hoxer out into space, but nobody there for 9LIVES, and Gen.G should be able to take control, though Chicago's got something to say about it. Second touch, and just got around Kofer. They just have not connected so far today.
Great idea, but again, execution lacking. This time Kofer for a solo, and Hoxer here looking for a bump. Kofer actually does get a bump, and Chicago dives into this. No chance here for really Gen.G to structure a counterattack, so 9LIVES actually in a great spot as they go all in on that play.
I mean, the only team remaining in this tournament that has a higher percentage of assisted goals right now is Ultimates. I mean, this 9LIVES team is third. But you wouldn't know it from watching how they've kind of jumped for the same ball at the same time. Cheese looking to put it away, and Hoxer sends that one out. And Kofer, does he have Chicago across? He sure does. Double lined up, and he pushed it to the side.
A good control from Cheese there as well. Still a lot of poise on the side of Gen.G in this overtime. They haven't necessarily got things too chaotic yet. I say that, and they double commit in the corner.
Yep.
But they don't get punished for it. And now Kofer will have a chance to solo, as no one will run to intercept that. Finally cut off in the midfield, and Hoxer will actually take his moment.
Hoxer taking his time. Chicago looking to clean up the rebound. Got it through one, but Reynolds is there. Kofer forcing Reynolds to make another acrobatic save, and it gets by Chicago. And Reynolds grabbed that corner boost on his way out, but Hoxer lobs away from him. Trying to keep the possession alive. Looking for another winner, and Cheese sends that one out as well.
Great consistent pressure on the side of 9LIVES. They're not afraid to dive in for the demos as well. And they've been holding on to the ball in midfield. Gen.G are in a tough spot right now. They got to work together to get out.
And they do just that. Cheese to Magic Bear. Kofer gives him a demo for his efforts, but the net's open, and Magic Bear just out of the reach of Kofer, and Gen.G double their series lead.
And Magic Bear just sticking with the play after his initial touch, collects a couple of pads, and is able to bank the shot. Kofer was racing back, couldn't get there in time. And Gen.G with game 2, but they had to fight for it.
They had to fight for it, but they can breathe a big sigh of relief, because instead of a 1-all series, they are halfway home to surviving and advancing what, again, might have been kind of a trap game. I mean, they gave up 17 shots in that game, but only got punished one time by Hoxer. And Gen.G have forced 9LIVES to take their timeout. Of course, everybody gets one in these best-of-7 series. 9LIVES choosing to take theirs down 0-2.
Yeah, it's a big point in the series here to be able to kind of swing this one around. 9LIVES definitely need it. Kofer, like you said, 17 shots. 8 of them were from Kofer initially. He had some great moments there set up. And even Chicago had a couple, but just really couldn't find the mark to put enough power behind it, as Gen.G's defense was really quick to kind of jump on any kind of lull in the play. A little bit of hesitation, and Gen.G's clearing it out of the zone. So definitely very well here, but you got to think too, it's kind of a double-edged blade taking the time out against Gen.G Mobile 1, because honestly, with Greg and those guys getting extra time to kind of talk things over, they did not play a perfect game 2 themselves. They get more time to kind of clean things up and relax, and it could prove fatal here for 9LIVES.
Well, 9LIVES trying to get right into things, but yes, they took the timeout, and yes, you do have to sit through the whole timeout. As you mentioned, Gen.G gets it too, so they're going to take some time to talk this over. You can see that going on right now behind them. and a Gen.G team, of course, a very different looking Gen.G squad. If you just kind of took a break from following anything Rocket League related at the end of last year and started watching now, yes, it is the old RMC, the old Luminosity. Team USA is fighting for its life in the lower bracket and have been for a while since losing to NRG. What a great prize, by the way, for going 3-0 in Swiss. Your first match is NRG. Yeah, okay, no problem.
You know, that's, well, I mean, to be fair, that's NRG's fault on that one.
Yeah, it really is. Could you imagine? We almost had NRG not in this top 8 after all the offseason hype about this G2 squad going over to NRG, Atomic, Beast Mode, Daniel, how great they are. And boy, they had to survive against JNAPs in round 5. Just all the ghosts of Rocket League's past tried to keep them out, but they do remain. They're coming up later. Gen.G taking center stage right now, up 2-0 in the series after the 9LIVES timeout. And we'll see if that timeout has done anything for them, for Fireburner's squad. See if they can get Kofor and Chicago on the same page.
We'll see how things look there. Again, I really want to see a little bit more from Chi. Shot 0 for 5 that last game. I think Chi's been set up with great opportunities. And if he cleans things up shooting-wise, I mean, I think Gen.G are just going to run away with the series. Plain and simple. Everybody's been playing good on that squad, though. It's up to 9LIVES to make the most out of the timeout.
This will drop right down to Magic Bear. Kind of fortuitous win. And Hawkser just ahead of Reynolds. That's happened a few times. I mean, Hawkser, I think, has kind of gotten the better of the two on most occasions where they've crossed paths in this series. Hasn't really resulted in much of anything. Magic Bear trying to quickly turn on that, and Chicago guides that one back out. And still dangerously close to the Gen.G net. Hawkser tried to get it back out towards Chicago, and he just had to stay put.
He did. It was interesting, too, to mix it up, because he did have a chance to take a shot. Might have a chance here, but no, Reynolds all in front of that. I like the idea. They're getting creative on offense on 9LIVES, and Chicago's also trying to get bumps there on the back end. But Gen.G is privy to it, and their defense is like a wall.
Chicago now has Kofor waiting right on the doorstep, and he'll force his way through. In Kofor they trust, and he delivers again.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at Chicago, initial touch there, and it has Magic Bear hesitate on going for the clearance. He's afraid of the bump, and that gives just enough time. Kofor has to get there first, and he does. It's a big goal for 9LIVES.
And they build upon it. That's going to be the question. Is Magic Bear stopped by Kofor? And listen, I mean, you can put all your eggs in the basket of, okay, give the ball to Kofor and let him do great things, as he'll make the stop there as well. And Cheese, maybe one more touch, but Hawkser's in the way. But sooner or later, you got to kind of fit in with the team. I think that's going to be the big challenge as this series reaches its conclusion. Right now, it's looking a lot better for 9LIVES. Kofor from the goal line, able to get up very quickly, but kind of stonewalled by Reynolds at midfield, and then Cheese and Magic Bear also in the same area. Kind of a late call-off. And you wonder if things might start to get a little shaky for Gen.G.
Yeah, things are definitely starting to kind of slow down here for 9LIVES. They're playing more for each other. Now that they know Gen.G have to kind of force the issue here. We're seeing a little bit of passes in transition. Cheese trying to line up the double. And you see Hawkser on the ball. Haven't seen too much from him in terms of that shooting department all the way here today, but he has been a good force of kind of reading the situation and playing the ball perfectly to his teammates.
Oh, Reynolds doing Reynolds things. Got the boost steal. Tried to take out Hawkser as well. Made him uncomfortable at least. It kind of froze him at the goal line, so he couldn't go for much boost. And what little he had was just enough as he got that out to the corner. And here goes Kofor. Here come 9LIVES again. Kofor again trying to create it on his own and let his teammates come in and clean up the messes. That goes wide. It went off of Reynolds, and he'll breathe a sigh of relief. Can he trigger the offense on the other end? Cheese now demolished, and that will end it.
Able to take advantage of the counterattack, and now they've got to do some defensive work here as well. Can Chicago get another touch? No. Hawkser jumped for it, but he had to pull off because Cheese had that one. Again, Gen.G's defense has been strong. They've only let in one, and we've seen the amount of shots that 9LIVES they can put on here. It's going to be Gen.G. They have to force the issue on these counterattacks here, but they have not been able to get past that transition defense from 9LIVES.
They do have him very low on boost, but Kofor got that corner to spawn right under him, and Chicago will clear away, only as far as Cheese. Gen.G have the upper hand right now, but instead that gets swatted all the way back downfield, and that brief advantage is gone, and they go back to figuring out how they're going to try and get an equalizer. And they might need a couple here, as Kofor just barely denied. And Chicago will keep the pressure on now for 9LIVES into the final minute.
Like you said, final minute of play. 9LIVES in a great spot. They just have to hold on here to things midfield-wise. You're starting to see Gen.G have Cheese bring the ball up, and Reynolds kind of look for a little bit of interference, but they might need a little bit more here because these plays are being very slow to develop, and you can see 9LIVES totally ready to cover that midfield. Even in there, you see Kofor just a strong dive, trying to make sure Gen.G's uncomfortable as they move the ball upfield.
Oh, Chicago tried to play very slowly there against the charging Magic Bear. And Cheese just got to Kofor, down to 23 seconds. Reynolds up very quickly. Gen.G knows they have to press the issue. And a big shot here that Hoxer couldn't save off the crossbar, and it came out cleanly, but a shot goes wayward. Gen.G still have an opportunity. Magic Bear stopped by Hoxer. And now Reynolds trying to dump it back in. Only 5 seconds left. Everybody's scrambling now. Kofor waiting on the near post. Magic Bear down to Cheese. No time on the clock, but he kept it above the ground. Kofor to kill it. And 9LIVES haven't done so just yet. Reynolds for the tie. No, it dies in front.
And 9LIVES able to just hold Gen.G off. 9 shots, but none of them get through. And it was only one play that worked here. I would call the overtime successful for now. But man, was that game close. Gen.G started getting a little bit panicky on offense towards the end of it. Of course, you got to send the house, you got to go. But with a little bit more poise, especially, Magic Bear had a little bit of a free ball there. He rushed the touch, and it kind of shut things down from that point on. They've got to take more of their time when they get it. Still high spirits, though, in the Gen.G camp, as they are up 2-1 in the series. But 9LIVES is going to look to expand off this.
I mean, as great as Cheese has been in this series, 2 goals, 2 assists, he's been great all weekend long. Make it 24 goals on the weekend for him to lead his team. He's got more than some teams ended up with in the whole thing, for crying out loud. He had 7 of the 9 shots for Gen.G. That kind of all-in strategy, you can get a couple wins out of it. To win a series, somebody else has to step up and take some of the load off his shoulders. Magic Bear's got a couple of goals, including the overtime winner in Game 2. Reynolds has one to his credit as well. Somebody else, just somebody other than Cheese, might have to take a couple of shots as we go to Game 4. Have 9LIVES solved the puzzle? Trying to scratch and claw their way back here in Game 4.
Already, again, you see that Gen.G offense here. Just very poised together. Look at that. The send of Magic Bear. You said you want to see somebody else. If Magic Bear really does start to get more comfortable and excel when he's on top of the ball, it could really lead to a lot of big changes here on the side of Gen.G Mobile 1.
Reynolds will leave it for Cheese, trying to go over top of Hoxer. Bumped him to the wall as well, but Kofor, sure-handed at the back, will make the stop. He has been everywhere for 9LIVES. He was a little bit more reserved in that game. You didn't see him being so hyper-aggressive, and he still got his out of that game. I think that timeout in the end will prove to have been very valuable for 9LIVES. It certainly calmed him down, and now he goes to work again with Chicago waiting in behind him. And Reynolds just going to take his time and see what he can take from the 9LIVES defense.
Consistency has been really so much better here on the side of Kofor. And now you got to question how things are going to look for Gen.G. Reynolds already just going for that lead block roll, even Magic Bear, but they can't get the ball through. And again, you talk about Hoxer Chicago. One has a different, one's a midfield challenge, and Kofor actually almost took that one all the way downfield himself to get the first goal.
It's just staying low with the defender jumping, but now Cheese through traffic. Everybody crisscrosses and eventually is saved out to the corner. Reynolds trying to force it in front, and had anybody been over there, it would have been a 1-0 lead for Gen.G. But all they can do is wish and hope, as Chicago will have that one all the way downfield. Doesn't have much boost to go alongside Hoxer. Guess who has it all? It's Kofor. Guess who's up? It's Kofor. Can he line up a double? No, Reynolds is right there.
Gen.G just still kind of playing with that lead block there on offense, sitting Reynolds up. Can Reynolds look for a chance to kind of throw off the rotation? He hasn't been successful, and not only that, the players he's not demoing who are in front, or technically behind him with Chicago and Hoxer, have been doing a great job shutting down Gen.G's offense, and they've got to get a big handle on that, because it does look like 9LIVES is starting to dictate the pace of the series.
Jeez, what does he have up his sleeve? Absolutely nothing, as that's easily sent away. Dropped down for Hoxer. Not a lot of boost, though. Again, only one player at any given time seems to have any boost at all for 9LIVES. In this case, it was Chicago. Now Hoxer, and Chicago's kind of direction downfield almost found its way through. Cheese is back for the save there for Gen.G. And we remain scoreless into the second half. A series that kind of threatened to become a shootout early on has become very much a low-scoring, grindy affair between Gen.G and 9LIVES.
Gen.G as a team, 2 shots, 1 on Cheese, 1 on Magic Bear. 9LIVES, 4 shots, all Kofer here, as he's trying to bring the ball upfield. And as you see him in the air, you see someone from 9LIVES, that time in Chicago, going downfield, trying to shut down that initial challenge. They want to be able to get as much room on the air as possible, and they're willing to fight for it.
Reynolds working his way through. Kofer says absolutely not. And again, Kofer manages to get his way at least to midfield with virtually nothing in the tank. I mean, he's getting a lot from very little. Hoxer initial stop. Cheese rebound, set it way high, and Chicago's got it away. Kofer tried to slow play, and Magic Bear all over it. Gen.G trying to turn up the heat a little bit now, trying to end the scoreless deadlock. Reynolds on the weak side, and he scores.
And that entire play, Chicago sitting in the back, 9 boosts to his name. Cheese gets a great touch pass 2, and Reynolds knows he's got a free shot. He's going to slam that every single time.
1-0 to Gen.G after all of that, all that we've seen over the last couple of games for 9LIVES. Will it be all for naught? 4 shots from 9LIVES in this game. They all belong to Kofer, who just had his pocket picked by Cheese. And he's going to go up the ladder instead of Chicago. Hoxer's all alone at the back, and he has all the boost for the squad. Go figure. Chicago's got some now. He'll go to work with a minute remaining. Can't get by Reynolds. Where's the follow-up? It's a little slow from Kofer on the other side, and Cheese will have that right out through the middle.
I was trying to get that consistent pressure, and then you can see Chicago trying to kick things into overdrive. Not enough, though. They can't get a clean shot. Gen.G's defense starting to hunker down.
Wonder if 9LIVES, just as a team, is capable of making that extra pass to try and throw off the defense of Gen.G, where everybody's looking for a shot. Chicago trying to get it down towards Kofer. Hoxer waiting. He's got plenty in the tank, but Kofer may score it in on his own. No! Oh. It ricochets around and out, and Reynolds takes the full canister and goes the other way with 20 seconds.
Hoxer couldn't get a good read on the play there. Second man, not able to get a good follow on that either. So now they're trying to put in more work. Chicago was being a menace. He ended up taking the corner boost. Plays this one off the corner. It's awkward for Hoxer. He's got no boost. Kofer's demo. It's got to be Chicago and Hoxer. They try to play the low 50. Kofer off the respawn gets boost to put it mid, but no one's there. And Gen.G put the series on match point.
3 shots to close it out after back-to-back 1-0 games and no timeout available for 9LIVES here. They burned it after going down 0-2. So they've got only a minute to try and figure out how they're going to get 3 back. I'll tell you, I'm going to put my coach hat on for a moment here, Daz. First of all, get more than 78 points out of Hoxer. And you know how you get more than 78 points out of Hoxer? Maybe passing the ball every once in a while. Complete a pass to anybody at some point, and you might get a little more offense going here against Gen.G. I think Gen.G have had an easier time than even they would have expected trying to shut down 9LIVES.
Thank you, Coach Stacks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I will say, though, the point, I think, also is that their offense started to get very one-dimensional, where, they have someone bring the ball up, and, again, I had talked about it earlier in the match. They're sending someone upfield to kind of, look for those demos, mainly Chicago, and it wasn't really yielding much. Even if Chicago would get the demo, Gen.G's midfield challenge would always stop the play before it could develop into something dangerous. At some point, you do have to try to mix it up, and they never did. So it was easier for Gen.G to stop them because they knew exactly what they were coming out with. Gen.G was the one that had a good opportunity after lots of offensive pressure. They hit their mark, and then we kind of saw an inverse from what happened in the last game there on Gen.G's side. Now a chance to close out the series. Can Gen.G do it here on Aquadome?
4 out of every 5 of their goals so far this weekend have had an assist with them. All 3 in this series. Yes, all 3 in this series as we begin game number 5. The offense has to pick up if they're going to stay alive here on their last life at Aquadome against Gen.G. And Chicago will bring it out. Hoxer with him in support. Kofer was back a bit, and he needed to be to stop that effort from midfield.
Look at those passes, though. You see Reynolds looking for Magic Bear all the way in the other corner. Gen.G making it a little bit tough to read. Defense, though, been doing well for 9LIVES as the games have been very, very close. And you can even see this one. Reynolds up so early, but Kofer spotted and got it to Chicago. And Chicago banks it in. What a play from 9LIVES.
And everybody involved here. Kofer sets it up, got the demo on Magic Bear, and Chicago slams it home at the end. Another assisted goal for one of the most prolific assisting teams in this event. And 9LIVES to the good right now. Maybe add another off the kickoff. Everybody just driving in slow motion, and Kofer picked them apart.
You get Cheese and Magic both go to the boost, but Cheese kind of turned in a little too late, and then you see both of them trying to course correct and dive for it. Kofer just barrels it straight down to the middle of the net. Big goal here, so significant for 9LIVES to get a 2-goal lead at this point.
Their first 2-goal lead of this series, and Kofer will leave that one for Chicago. Had to practice a little restraint there. Chicago to Hoxer. Kofer waiting for the midfield boost to spawn. It does as he makes his way back, and he's going to need it to stop that with Reynolds bearing down on him.
Oh, Chicago, that touch gets a little too far from him. Has to use all of his boosts to get there. So Magic Bear will try to clean it up, get it towards the midfield. Great follow-up on the initial touch, and Hoxer's there to cut it off. They have been kind of moving the ball around a little bit more, but wow, what a save there from Chicago.
Yeah, you can point to a couple different minute and a half long stretches from Chicago yesterday. That is the big reason for him being, or his team being here, and a lot of it stems from playing off the ball, getting into position, buying his teammates time to get back and play defense as well, and just kind of almost stymieing the other team's offense, not letting them get comfortable at all, and not letting them break out in counterattacks. As Cheese, just kind of desperation, leaves that ball off to the side. Hoxer takes over, and 9LIVES look like a whole new team right now.
Yeah, they've sent Kofer upfield. He got an initial bump on Magic Bear, picked up the corner boost, and then got another one on Magic. But even then, not able to kind of break through the second opportunity. But you like this because it forces Gen.G back. Gen.G has to play from that defensive line. You want to make sure you're not letting up off the gas because you got that 2-goal lead so early on in the game. It's really easy to lose that initial pressure and then have Gen.G really start to get back into the game. So it's a great show of effort on the side of 9LIVES to keep this up.
All right, a little outside in action there, and it just didn't quite work out. And now they could get beat on the counterattack. Double from Reynolds goes wayward. And Magic Bear's gonna have to turn on this, not with as much boost as he would like. And Kofer is right there. Now here comes Cheese. Pass over to Reynolds, and he scores! Oh, again, when you start looking shot, you go for the pass instead, and it's a brilliant one out of Cheese.
And you can see from the positioning, Chicago kind of took a little bit of a notice on it when he tried to backflip, but he was too late to read what Gen.G were cooking up. Great pass to Reynolds, and Reynolds making the most of his opportunities. He's been so good when he's had those free chances and free looks for a shot. It's been a big reason why Gen.G's in their position right now.
Can they turn this game back on its head? Oh, it's an open net behind them, and Kofer credited with the goal. A challenge at midfield that goes in indirect, and that's how it extends back to a 2-goal lead.
Of course, as I give Reynolds his praise, that happens. That's really unfortunate for him. 9LIVES, though, they wanted one back quick, and they got it back quickly. Kofer, 100% on shots. Again, he's had some good opportunities, though, set up from the initial kickoffs, and he's been making use of them very well.
And any praise you'd like to give to NRG in advance of their series coming up? I think some Europeans would be very interested to hear what you have to say.
No
that does
comment.
a cross, almost scored by Hoxer.
Good shooting, though. You're starting again to see 9LIVES. Understand, they got that 2-goal lead. They've got to kind of keep up that pressure. And now it's kind of forcing Gen.G to be a little bit more spaced out. You see Reynolds again looking for that lead block, but Kofer makes it all the way downfield to pick up the ball again to help out Chicago, recognizing the danger that his teammate's in, and then, of course, goes through to try to see if he can set up a play to buy Chicago a little bit more space.
Well, a challenge for Gen.G to close this out. Back to a 2-goal deficit. Another
panic.
Pass now, Cheese. After bullying everybody out of the way, he'll score his own rebound and back within 1 with 1:13 to go. Boy, how about that stroke of luck with the ball falling right back to him.
That's just Kofer panicking. Hoxer's back in time. He had to kind of like half flip wave dash to kind of get back in time for the ball, but he was going to get there initially before the initial challenge on Gen.G, and instead he ends up running into Kofer. Play breaks down. Now it's a 1-goal game.
Big crash at midfield for the kickoff, and does go the way of 9LIVES. They try to hold Gen.G back. Chicago could be over there for this, as he's able to steal the corner boost, but nobody else forward, and Magic Bear will just send it down. He's got Reynolds, and he had Cheese there. Magic Bear's going to have to go all the way back for a corner boost that just spawned for him, and Hoxer tried to dance around him and could not convert. Oh, a missed opportunity there for 9LIVES to maybe put this game away. Instead, they got to sweat it out now for the final 35.
Yeah, they had a chance on the counterattack. Give Magic Bear credit, though. Great save. And it almost ended up going into a goal here, but now Gen.G still more work to do. Reynolds playing extremely close to this. Good chase down from Kofer to cut the play away.
And Kofer jumping into action again, down to 15 seconds for Gen.G. If they want to get this to overtime, that's set up though for Chicago and sent out by Reynolds. Down to 8 seconds. Magic just ahead of Kofer. Only Chicago to beat. He's done his job, slowed it down enough. Got it over to Cheese though. And now Reynolds denied by Hoxer and will play on to Game 6. 9LIVES keep their final life intact.
Yes, they do. And, you know, the game was kind of in their hands. They lived and almost died by it. Again, solid work individually from Kofer. He's been playing really good. But also, you asked for more from Hoxer, and you did get more from Hoxer's stats. A couple of assists and most saves on the team from him. Very effective when the team needed him to be, especially when you could kind of tell Chicago did get a little bit zoned out on some of the plays here. Hoxer was there in time, but this one, I mean, great pass from Gen.G. They did kind of still have a good couple of scoring opportunities. It was just 9LIVES took advantage of a couple of kickoff plays and built themselves a strong lead.
Yeah, a couple of fluky plays got through for 9LIVES, but you know what? If your team is literally 9LIVES, you're going to have to win that way sometimes. And yes, it has worked out exactly like that. Shots even, goals not. 9LIVES stay alive here going into Game 6 now. And Gen.G, they still have their timeout in their pocket. I don't believe they've used it. So they'll keep that for if this potentially goes to a Game 7. We go to Neo Tokyo for Game 6. Can 9LIVES spring this upset to kick things off in North America? It could set the tone and maybe a bad omen for some of the other top dogs waiting to play, including the likes of NRG, maybe the likes of Ultimates. We'll find out as we kick it off now in Neo Tokyo for Game 6.
Game 6, lower round 1. Again, just kind of showing you the competition here in North America. Gen.G, a team that looked so good, especially in the qualifiers, as well as, I'd say, the kind of leading up to this event. Seemed like they had a strong game plan. They wanted to stick to it. Now they're under pressure from 9LIVES. Hoxer trying to get the ball. Hoxer got it! First goal for 9LIVES.
Well, that sends a message early, doesn't it? Hoxer, catch and release, and little toadstool on Reynolds. And here we go. 1-0 to 9LIVES.
I like what Kofer did there too on the play. He kind of did like a little fake for a bump. He's just getting the defense to hesitate and allowing Hoxer to get more time to get in front of the ball to get that bump there.
Oh, Chicago, good win. Out to Hoxer. That's going to go wayward, but possession should remain for 9LIVES here. And everybody's bunched up right now for Gen.G, and they've got to kind of disperse and figure out how they're going to divvy up the boost that's available on their half of the field. Chicago had that kick right back out to Hoxer. He could follow it himself, but Cheese does just enough. And now Kofer will kind of play that forward. Not really trying to create a team play there. Hoxer towards Chicago. Cheese intercepts. Well read. And Gen.G still struggling to get out of defense, but they finally do.
Every time they touch the ball, you can just see someone on 9LIVES is ready. Just goes into the challenge of Gen.G trying to take an easy counterattack. Kofer with the demo on Magic Bear, so Cheese still trying to hold this play alive. But the pass just too obvious. And a chance there for 9LIVES to break out. Oh, did she Magic
Bear is already downfield, so too is Cheese. And after all that, ain't nobody touched the ball. Back the other way, Reynolds has to again, and he just got it out of harm's way.
And 9LIVES, not in a really good position upfield to kind of take advantage of it. They had Reynolds blast back, and not really the best touch. If somebody was able to get on top of the ball, maybe could have worked out a play there if they could have jumped on it. But again, they are in a good spot scoring-wise. They're trying to take their time, make sure not to overcommit here, as it is still a one-goal game.
Well, that ricochets off the ceiling. Hoxer had to make a quick adjustment, and he did. Now watch Kofer.
There's a bump!
The other way with the bump downfield, and Kofer extends the lead.
Look at this, though. Hoxer, the perfect save. Goes out. Reynolds just doesn't have enough boost to get there. Chicago gets a bump on Magic. It just everything. The stars align for 9LIVES there. And they are up by 2, looking to force to game 7.
4 team efforts coming out for 9LIVES. It's how they got here. And abandoning that is almost how they exited here. But the 2-goal lead now. Gen.G made it close last game. Kofer trying to work his way through, and he does! Oh, what a solo effort out of the young star.
Cook him up, Kofer. Slide by Reynolds. 50 Cheese. It almost went to the top corner itself. And before Slater could get the bump, Kofer was already in the air to finish the job. Halfway through game 6, 9LIVES have excelled to another level.
Slow play out of the kickoff for Gen.G, which goes against Kofer's entire nature. He almost got Magic Bear, who wins that challenge, and just about put it in, and he does. Chicago couldn't do anything with that. It kind of a, is it on, is it not? Yes, it is, and kind of caught him boosting forward after the respawn.
That's a good goal there for Gen.G. Very important for them. Again, slowing down 9LIVES there pressure-wise, kind of killing the momentum. Now they're down by 2, half the game to go.
Reynolds just picked up full boost on the other side as Cheese tries to work, and he couldn't get the ball anywhere near him. So now Magic Bear will try, and Hoxer is right there. Cheese and Magic Bear trying to connect. Not going to happen. Reynolds trying to keep it in. Cheese has plenty in the tank to play with, and Kofer has pretty much got around him. And 9LIVES get a brief reprieve, but not for long. Magic Bear denied. It's still loose on the doorstep, and Hoxer strafes across for another save.
He had no boost. Able to get there in time, but they're still under pressure. There's no boost here on the side of 9LIVES, and Gen.G know it. Another pass, blocked out by Hoxer. That goes straight down, and Kofer's there to save the day in time. 1:44 to go. Gen.G gave it their best shot, but they came up empty.
Gen.G have thrown everything at 9LIVES, and they've answered the call. And now, only Reynolds back, dropped down in front, and Hoxer was not able to pounce on it. That would have been the death blow in Game 6. It would have certainly signaled Game 7 on the horizon. It may still well be. Kofer trying to kill time here. He's got Hoxer trying to drop it off to him. And this new look 9LIVES squad that's kind of evolved as the series has gone on is giving Gen.G all they can ask for and then some. Here goes Kofer, dagger!
Big goal from Kofer. Puts the shot through. Again, off the pressure from Chicago. Once they had the position, they didn't let up. They thought, is Kofer going to take a shot? Is he going to solo? He says, save that. As 9LIVES up by 3 with a minute to go. Kofer shooting 100%. He's not missing.
Oh, how different this series has become. All of a sudden, 9LIVES look like they're the team that's trying to stave off an upset, as they have been significantly better than the opposition. Cheese trying to Wiggle one through. Not going to happen. Magic Bear to center. Reynolds is there. Line up a double. No. And the rebound from Cheese. Oh, what a redirect out of Reynolds with 39 to go. And maybe, just maybe, some life remains for Gen.G in 6.
And perfect touch from Reynolds, so necessary. Hoxer didn't even see him coming. Great touch there, and Gen.G with a little bit of life, but a lot of work to do.
Still very much an uphill hike. And Reynolds did his part. Magic Bear's there. Reynolds against Kofer, who slams the door shut on him inside 30 seconds. Hoxer knocked away from the midfield boost. That'll slow him down significantly, and Gen.G can work from the back line, but Reynolds probably made that a little cuter than he had to, and time is not their friend right now. Magic Bear trying to get through Chicago with 10 seconds left. Cheese doing his part. Kofer looking to pound it away, and he does, off of Hoxer into an open net. And now we will see you at Champions Field.
For sure. Champions Field on the way. Again, 4 for 4 for Kofer. As this one is out of reach, Gen.G tried their best towards the end, but even with Reynolds, who's been making the extra effort over the course of this series, it just wasn't enough. We're going the distance here. 9LIVES, send us to 7.
Kind of been a theme of these weekend shows. Let's just play as many games as we possibly can. And this one in particular just became a runaway very early on. Game 7 on the horizon after 9LIVES does this to Gen.G.
Yeah, this is just a great individual performance from Kofer, though, but also a great assistance here on Chicago and Hoxer, both with 2 assists apiece during that game. Kofer doesn't get these looks if it's not set up properly, and those guys, especially Chicago, he's been all over the field, all through the game, same as Hoxer, and it just has been working so well. This level of pressure, Gen.G was simply not ready for going into the game, and now even with their offense kind of struggling a bit to really set up anything, some more sustainable pressure, we haven't seen too much of that, and we're going into this and taking this time out to kind of talk things over. This is going to be their last shot.
We've talked so much about the offense of Gen.G early on in this series. They go for 3, they go for 2, 2, 1, 2. I mean, we're waiting for that kind of offensive explosion. We've seen it out of 9LIVES now, going off for 5 in game 6 to force this deciding game. And this team, this was Team USA. This was, okay, well, if XG2, wherever they go, they end up with NRG, if they're still going to be the top dog, we'll at least be number 2, by God. Well, you've at least got to survive 9LIVES here in game 7. You've got to survive Kofer having the series of his life with 8 goals, over 20 on the weekend, and trying to put away Gen.G Mobile 1 Racing.
I mean, you got your backs against the wall and you've got the lights as bright as ever. What do you do when you are in this position? You got to make your moment here, and that's going to be up to every player on the field here. But Gen.G, lots of eyes on them to see if they can show up and show out as we load up the iconic Champions Field.
An iconic backdrop as ever. Game 7, 9LIVES, Gen.G. There's a little bit of difference in name recognition there. Names are only names. Here we go. It is Kofer up at the top. He's been the focal point of the series for 9LIVES. How will he figure into how it concludes? No factor at all. Cheese takes it away and scores 15 seconds in.
You can see 9LIVES moving up just as they see the play develop, and then just like that, turn on a dime. Reynolds finds Cheese. Cheese finds the net. First goal for Gen.G.
I'm sure that's exactly the way Greg and Kev drew it all up. Hoxer. Give it to Kofer. Now Chicago back to Hoxer, and the shot goes well wide. Can they keep the offense alive, though? Trying to move the ball around a little quicker than Gen.G can handle it. Kofer went over the ball. And Hawkser now trying to keep the attack alive as well. And he's done so. Magic Bear forced to make a last-second save, as I don't think he was expecting that ball to get through. Chicago and Kofor try to avoid each other, and then they'll try to make the most out of an ugly situation, but that one's kind of gone by the wayside for 9LIVES.
But Hawkser still makes the most of it. Reynolds took that booster in the midfield. He's looking for Chicago, who just picked up that corner. Chicago to Kofor. Kofor, bang! Kofor again shows up for 9LIVES.
Greater than the sum of their parts. You call it out, the cross-field pass. Nobody was ready for Chicago on the other side, and even fewer ready for Kofor coming right down Broadway. All tied up in the first minute.
And what an excellent play there, too. Game 7, they show up, and everybody getting involved on the side of 9LIVES. We haven't seen too many of that extra pass come out, and my goodness, does it look good when they do it.
Game 4, 9LIVES is like, wait, we can do that? Yes, it's legal. You can do that. And they've done it to great success as Hawkser ranges back for the save on an otherwise empty net. Magic Bear takes away from Chicago, but Kofor with a big win downfield, and we'll reset 90 seconds into Game 7.
The passes in transition have been so good for Gen.G, but you can see a little bit more spaced out is the rotation from 9LIVES. Hawkser was ready for that one to get sent downfield. He was in the perfect spot to gain control. The 9LIVES struggling to break out. You see that extra challenge. Cheese and Magic there, trying to see if they can throw off Chicago, who has done a great job. You just feel presence and being able to make the right play. But Reynolds may have a chance. Hawkser, another save with him on low boost.
Yeah, he had that play read the whole way. I don't think Reynolds had a realistic chance of scoring there, unfortunately, and didn't really have anything else he could do with the ball. Now Cheese, right back down the other way. Reynolds has nothing in the tank. He's just trying to be a disruptor, and he just about was. Maybe he's done enough, but Hawkser will slow things down, try to buy his teammates time. They've got plenty of boost in the tank, and Chicago try to pinch that away, and Reynolds is ready for it. Back over to Kofor, though. His second touch will trigger this downfield. And boy, just what a dazzling series from the youngster Kofor. Really arrived here on the scene with this event. Oh, Reynolds after the fake. That one saved away. Follow-up goes high and wide, and Hawkser will get him out of danger. Chicago shot well wide, but it's still open, and he scores.
Back to you? No, back to you. Chicago to Hawkser. Magic can't get the touch, and Chicago able to finish it off. What a play there. 1-2 all the way down the field between Chicago and Hawkser, and it's a big-time goal in Game 7. But Cheese may have it. He's got it right off the kickoff. Gen.G strike back in an instant.
Where'd they turn? Somebody asked Johnny Boy, where'd they turn? Not the right way.
They were trying to set up a pinch there for Hawkser. Hawkser was sitting on that right side. He didn't cheat down the middle either, and it just led up to a lane there. Unfortunately, the kickoff play just didn't work there for 9LIVES, and they got punished for it.
So we're right back to square one. Why wouldn't we be? 2 minutes remaining in Game 7. All square. And Kofor has Reynolds breathing down his neck. Chicago, easy possession. He's hoping that midfield boost will spawn for him, and it's not going to. Hawkser will have to bring it across. Now Chicago does have a full canister, but he had to stay back in midfield for so long. Nobody can pass it to him, but a good thing that he just got a piece of that, because that ultimately kept Gen.G out of their net.
And Magic almost able to sink that one in too as well. Gen.G is fighting, but still a stalemate here. Good possession control from 9LIVES here, as they have definitely tried to just see if they can force the 50s out and look for passing opportunities. Gen.G on the counter has been very dangerous, though.
I don't know if that's where Magic Bear necessarily wanted that ball to go, but it has done so, and Gen.G have at least found a way to break out of the zone, but Kofor almost made a pay. Now Hawkser just play right down the middle, and everybody's got to get boost. Chicago's just going to work with what he's got. Oh, what a flick! And 9LIVES are back in front.
Chicago on the 1v1. That's a scary sight for Cheese. Reynolds was looking at Cheese was actually trying to cut for Reynolds. And Chicago just recognized, I got to get this ball out of my hands as quickly as possible. What a flick out of Reed. A minute to go. 9LIVES in the lead. They've been kind of dictating the pace all game. It's been Gen.G trying to claw from behind. 9LIVES not going out without a fight. Another pass, another shot, blocked out by Cheese. What a save.
And it's empty back the other way, but off to the corner, and Hoxer didn't get a piece of it. Oh, it's still off the post. It's hitting everything but the net. Gen.G just squandered an equalizer 7 ways to sunset. Now Hoxer back the other way. Is this the ultimate payment? Gopher out to the corner, and that's just taken away by Magic Bear. Boy, that could have been devastating had it gone in the other way, and it still could. With only 20 seconds left, they still need to find an equalizer after having one on a silver platter, but they could not finish. Down to 15 seconds. Hoxer can't get up for this. Chicago tracking the other way. Burn more time off the clock. Gen.G's got to run now with 4 seconds. Reynolds let it get away. Got it in the air. Stopped by Hoxer. 9LIVES are going to spring the upset of the day. If they can just get this down to the ground, Chicago holds all the cards. And somehow Gen.G escapes. Surely not.
No way, Cheese.
Cheese off the post again. They hit the frame of the goal 5 times in the last minute. And if that doesn't tell you the entire story of Gen.G in the second half of that series, I don't know what does.
I'm stunned. I am stunned.
Wow.
Especially on that last play with Hoxer. He went for the fake, and you thought that he would get punished for that. But we just saw a ball floating on the goal line, and you just ask yourself, how is that not a goal? I feel like the series, we should be in overtime by now or something. But no, they missed the mark, and Gen.G is out at lower round 1 here in the first NA Open.
I tell you, there are few things that are as fun for me to watch as what we saw from 9LIVES in the last 3 games of this series. Again, through 3 games, it looked like, okay, you know, especially after the overtime in game 2, it's like, all right, you know, they eke one out in game 3, they get a 1-0 win, but they give it right back on the other side. In game 4, they lose 1-0. Okay, now it's 3 match points, and they look completely disjointed. And then all of a sudden, they're a very different team. And the rest of the highlight package for 9LIVES becomes team play after team play after team play. One of the so-called top dogs in NA has gone down. Another's coming up with NRG taking on Team Evo as 9LIVES persevere in 7. More of the RLCS coming up after this.
Don't pause, replay.